I hope that you leave with a desire to want to go out and clean up trash and to use this or do that a little bit better. But most importantly, I hope you leave here feeling better about yourself and realizing that you can change the world.
Welcome back to Habi-Chats. My name's Sadie with Bush Wild, and we are here at the Ecological Marine Adventure right here in my home, Surf City. Where conservation and adventure meet. Wild places, wild creatures, wild about planet Earth. We are Bush Wild. Hey everyone, we are here at the Eco Marine Adventures in Topsail Aquarium with Taylor, and Taylor's going to give us the whole scoop about what's going on in here, all the happenings, all the cabinets of curiosity, and all the fun things that you can find right here in Surf City. So Taylor, can you introduce yourself and your role that you play here?
Absolutely. So my name is Taylor Reddy. I am the owner of Topsail Aquarium, which is the only aquarium here in Surf City on the island of Topsail Island. But then also the vice president for Ecological Marine Adventures, which is a nonprofit.
Okay, Taylor, can you tell us how you got into marine conservation?
Absolutely. I love the ocean because I'm a surfer. That's the biggest thing. And people always ask, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I surf. That's my passion. For a long time, that was what I wanted to do. And when you surf, you love the waves, right? Like you want to surf as much as you can and be in the ocean as much as you can. And when you're in the ocean, you start to develop a love for it.
Right.
And then when you love something, you take care of it. And so that was my way into conservation, was really just surfing. Like I love surfing, so I love the ocean. And then I loved the ocean, so I wanted to take care of it. And so that led into all the studies and all the things that I did in order to get to where I am today. So with EMA and what we do, our mission, our vision, we always say we teach people to love the ocean because if they love it, they'll take care of it.
That's right.
Because that's the same way that I learned to take care of it, because I loved it because of surfing. So everybody always asks, how'd you get into marine conservation, this and that? Well, simple answer, because I surf. And because I love the ocean. And so that's where I am today. A lady named Kathleen Murphy had originally started Ecological Marine Adventures.
Okay.
She actually started it on the beach down at the south end in like a tent. And I had moved a couple locations, and she had actually come here to Surf City to start it up. Long story short, started working for that, ended up buying it from there and kind of taking it to the next level. It was always such a small little company with so much potential. We just kind of got in there and saw her vision and then unlocked it. We still keep in touch with Kathleen Murphy. I think everything that we do within this company goes back to her and her way of teaching, because how she taught me to teach is how I taught my instructors to teach, and how those instructors taught their instructors to teach. So all of that kind of comes back from her. So we're super grateful for her and thankful for her for starting that and having that vision. And all we've done is taken that vision and run with it. Topsail Aquarium and Ecological Marine Adventures were one company, but as of January, they actually split into two separate companies, with Ecological Marine Adventures being our new nonprofit.
Can you tell us a little bit about the split, what ignited it, how did it happen? Tell us everything.
The Great Divide. So basically, EMA, we'll call EMA Ecological Marine Adventures, I think everybody knows that, but EMA basically was a nonprofit from the very beginning. The amount of community outreach we do, beach cleanups, the amount of free camps and classes that we give, were like, it was a lot. And we love that because we wanted to be here for the community. So we decided, you know what, we're pretty much acting as a nonprofit. We really just need to take the step into nonprofit. And so that's what kind of led our decision to that. Like, hey, we're already pretty much doing it.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and make it official. Now, the aquarium we decided to keep just because it's something that we've kind of, you know, like we said, EMA was my little child. Like we grew up from that little area and we wanted to get bigger. So we ended up keeping that as the for-profit company and turning the camps and classes and outreach into the nonprofit.
Okay.
Both have very similar visions on conservation. And you know, kind of going back on one of the most important things to me, ocean conservation is extremely important. Like that's what we want to teach here. That's what we want to make sure that the kids leave here with, that understanding of it's important to take care of our oceans. But more importantly than that, I hope that the kids leave here feeling better and feeling like they belong and that they are someone.
Right.
Like that to me is my most important vision between both of these companies. So they have that same vision in mind as like, we want to make sure that kid leaves here, or that person leaves the aquarium, or that kid leaves camp in class, happier, excited, and ready to take on the world, feeling that they can accomplish something. You have a lot of people that show the doom and gloom of what the world is.
Yes.
Oh, the oceans are, filled with plastic, and there's what a terrible place to live. You have this. I mean, every place I go, we're like, oh, they're having a talk on conservation, and really what it is just a talk on how we're screwing everything up.
Right.
And so you leave there feeling defeated almost. You leave that whole
like a scare tactic.
Exactly, like, oh, well, we already screwed up. I don't know what we should do now. What our vision and what our goal is not to have that, but to incite hope and excitement and taking care of the oceans. So when people leave EMA or the aquarium, I hope they feel like they can make a difference and that it is possible to change the world.
Can you tell us what the core mission of Eco Marine Adventures is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've always said we teach people to love the ocean because if they love it, they'll take care of it. And so what better way to love the ocean than by getting out in it, right? And people are like, well, how's that helping with conservation? Because these kids are learning to love it, and they're not going to want to take care of it unless they love it. It's that same purpose of like, why would I care about the ocean if I don't love it? Like, why would I want to protect something that I'm not passionate about? And so the big thing that we want to do is get these kids stoked on the ocean, get these kids passionate about the ocean, because if they become passionate about it, then they'll want to protect it.
A little bit about the programs that you guys offer to visitors, families, homeschool communities, anything like that?
Yeah. I guess the question is what programs we don't offer, because we offer so many things, and I'm going to try to remember them all because I'm pretty terrible at it. So in the summer, we go full on summer camps. So we do summer camps for kids. That includes early morning, full day camps, half day camps, single hour. We do boat excursions where we take them out fishing and ID different fish that we catch. We do ghost crab hunts at nighttime where we go out and we collect the ghost crabs. We ID them, we count them, and release them back into the wild. We do a lot of different things like that. We also offer homeschool programs. Okay. We have over 200 homeschool students that can meet with us once a week for the entire semester. So we have homeschool programs in the fall and spring and winter. We have toddler camps and classes. We also do, which is called our C School. We also do after-school programs. So we go and pick up at Surf City Elementary and bring them back to us, and we do all sorts of crazy fun stuff with them, which is phenomenal. But yeah, we offer as many things as we can do for the community. We're going to do it. As far as the Topsail Aquarium goes, we have different events coming up. Tomorrow's World Octopus Day.
Ooh,
so we
excited.
we have stuff going on for that. We have stuff going on for every holiday. Different plans and different things that go along with that. But yeah, we are constantly trying to get more events for the community. If you've ever had a 3 or 4-year-old kid, they're not in school yet, and you don't have anything to do with them, we want to make sure that parents have somewhere to take that kid and have all sorts of activities and enrichment. But yeah, anything that we can do, we go from ages, we typically use the first camp start around 3 years old. Wow. And then I usually say 3 to about 87. I think that's been our oldest customer so far. So from 3 to 87, we'll have something for you to do, whether it's mid-season, off-season, right in the middle of the season, we're always going to have activities.
And even if it's not a program, the aquarium is still open for guests to come and visit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep, always open 6 days a week. Yep. Closed on Sunday, but every other day we're open.
Can you think of a visitor in particular or any scenario that was truly inspiring to you and what you were able to give them here?
The 3 that are really important to me are, one, it's very simple. We were lining up, and it was a summer camp. So it was a group of kids, always rambunctious in the summer because they're just running around and crazy. We're out in the sun. And I was trying to get them kind of corralled because we do have to cross the road over here. And so I was trying to get them corralled in and kind of lined up so we can start crossing this road. And this little girl just starts running away from the line. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is she doing? Like, all right, let me go get her. So I go to go get her, and she runs, she picks up a piece of trash and then comes back in line. And that was when it hit me. I was like, wow, it's working. Yes. Like what we're doing is working.
She gets it.
She gets it. She understood it. And so that was a huge turning point in me because I was like, man, the things that we're doing actually are affecting these kids, which is really, really important. The number 2 thing that happened was, this is kind of a personal story, I always tell this to the staff every year. We had a kid that was causing a little bit of trouble in class. And he had been with me for a couple weeks that summer, but for some reason this week he was misbehaving. He was just, but not only that, like a lot of kids that come to us have different issues or different problems that they might have, and we are happy we take everybody that we can.
Sure.
But at this point he was starting to affect the other kids in the class, and he was picking on them and saying mean things to them. And so, after a couple times being like, hey man, what's going on?
Yeah.
I said, hey man, let's go outside and let's take a walk. So we went outside and we took a walk, and I remember sitting there and just looking out, and we were identifying different birds. I was like, man, is there anything you want to talk about? I was like, no, nothing I want to talk about. And so we're done. Well, that's a laughing goal. They have a really funny laugh when they tell it. That's there's a cormorant. They can hold their breath for almost 17 minutes. Just going over cool little facts with them. And eventually he said, Mr. Taylor, my dad didn't come home for my birthday. And it was like, man, I understand why you're upset.
Yeah.
Like, now I understand. And I appreciate you telling me that. And it was one of that turning moments of like, you have no clue what these kids are dealing with.
Right.
And after he expressed that and we talked about it, we went inside and he was phenomenal for the rest of the time. But you have no clue what these kids are going through when they come to us. And so to me, that was a turning point in why we do what we do, is because sometimes these kids have so many heartbreaks and so many things that they're going through that they just don't know how to express in any other ways. And that's why we try and give them that avenue here at EMA. So that kind of changed my course of what we're doing and how we want to do it, because these kids matter so much.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what we talked about, that conservation education versus the people education. Like, it's so important to me that we get these kids understanding how important they are. I always say people conservation is to help people understand their importance.
Sure.
It's hard for somebody to want to do something if they don't believe in themselves. It really is. So what we want to do is incite that belief in themselves. We want to teach these kids that, hey, you can do anything that you put your heart to. Third is about the aquarium. We're not a huge aquarium here at Topsail Aquarium. I always call it a small rinky-dink aquarium. We've got like 5 rooms of a lot of animals stuffed in packed, and the building's probably from 1950s. Like, this is an old building. We do our best with what we got. But if you go into these other aquariums in North Carolina, you're like, wow, these are these massive tanks, these big elaborate things. And, I've always wondered, like, how we're going to get there. I got a call randomly around Thanksgiving time.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, this is so-and-so. You don't remember me. Me and my kids came through your aquarium. I just wanted to let you know that we've traveled a whole bunch all over the world. We've been to the Georgia Aquarium, we've been to aquariums in Japan, they've been to all sorts of things. And they said that tonight at the dinner table, which is near Thanksgiving, which they came here in July, they said we were talking about how amazing your aquarium was and how my kids love it, and that's their favorite aquarium.
That's fantastic.
And I was like, wow, that's...
And they called to tell you that.
And they called and months later that they were still talking about it. And that's when it hit me too, like, even small things can make a huge impact in people's lives. These kids, these students, these people that have even come to the aquarium have changed my life more than I'll ever do anything for them. So that's the beautiful thing about what we do, is we get to help the community, but the community also helps us in changing and becoming better as well.
Can you tell us about some of the missions that you have going on abroad and how it plays into here?
Absolutely. So in Nicaragua, we have a small nonprofit called Tides of Hope, NICA, which is basically like conservation efforts that are down there in this bay called Redonda Bay, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world, by the way. But in that bay, we've had up to 150 nests at a time. Wow, so we have so many different species of turtle that come in. And so a lot of what we do is we make sure the nest is protected. Then we kind of just collect data on it. So how many sea turtles hatch from that nest, what species, different things like that. And we have data from the last 8 years of the amount of sea turtles that came to the bay, how many eggs were hatched, how many didn't hatch, all sorts of different data on that. We also do iguanas, so the iguana nests and eggless and their clutches, and how many they laid, how many iguanas come, different things like that. But we also have different rehabilitation down there for different species of monkey and birds that we find as well. We love that down there, and it's so much so that we actually pay for the staff of Ecological Marine Adventures to go down there once a year and to help with the conservation efforts down there.
Can you tell us what a typical day, if there is one, what that looks like here at your facility?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, it's a bit different. I don't teach as many camps and classes as I used to, usually none. The instructors always pick on me about it. I kind of call myself a firefighter, and what that means is I'm just constantly going out and putting out fires of different things that have happened. Somebody skins their knee, I'll go and help put a Band-Aid on, things like that. But as far as camps and classes go, well, today's a Tuesday. We had a toddler class this morning that came in at 9:30. We also have a homeschool group that came in at 9. And so our staff gets here about 30 minutes early to prepare, making sure everything's set, good to go. The pencils are sharpened, colors are ready. They were building a cave using Legos, so make sure the Legos are out, things like that, and getting kind of ready for that specific curriculum. And then we have our camps and classes, depending on the type of camps and classes, they all change, but typically we'll have some sort of theme or topic that we discuss. And then as much as time as we can, we'll kind of get outside. So we're going to get outside, we're going to go into the ocean, we're going to use seines, we're going to use cast nets, we're going to use everything we can to collect different species of different things that we're learning. Or for instance, if we're learning about sharks, we're probably not going to be able to catch a shark that day, but we'll catch fish and compare the fish to the sharks and what are the difference of the two. But yeah, so, and then towards the end of the class, they'll clean up and get everything ready. A lot of Clorox wipes, a lot of mopping, a lot of sweeping, getting ready with kids. In fact, I just walked out there to the front door and my feet are covered in sand. And all I did was just walk to the front door. And it's just that same thing. So there's always constantly a lot of cleaning. That's what I enjoy doing as well, as just cleaning up and taking care of things like that. But yeah, camps and classes run every single day. Mondays and Fridays we have field trips. And for instance, we had a field trip from Cape Fear that came, I think they were about 100 students. So, there's all sorts of different stuff that goes along with that. But yeah, that's typical day here is lots of camps, getting out in the ocean. I always tell all of our employees to make sure that they bring something that they can get wet in, because they are kind of constantly covered in ocean water or sand, and then kids as well. So
in the aquarium portion, you have a lot of different species and a lot of different, not just aquarium animals, but terrestrial animals too, right? So how do you take care of such a wide variety of life down there?
So I learned a lot kind of growing up about how to take care of these animals, but we also have a full-time back of house employee who his education, his background is in taking care of all of the animals. So he knows a lot more about the tanks than I do. And so it's a lot of counsel. Hey, we have this, what do we do with this? How do we do with this? But then we also have different, we have, fortunately, at least 5 staff down there on any given day. So there's a lot of people that are doing different jobs and helping one another with taking care of these animals. But yeah, it's just learning process. We've, in the very beginning, we would come to work and have an animal sitting outside our door that somebody didn't want. And it was just like, okay, now we have to learn how to take care of this animal. I've never seen this kind of animal before. Like, what do we do?
And you don't seem like the business of turning animals away.
No. That was especially one of the things that we didn't want to do, is we wanted to make sure that every animal has a happy, excited life. Most of the animals that you will see downstairs are rescues, where people couldn't take care of them anymore, didn't want them anymore. Kids going off to college, different things like that, where parents don't want the animals, so they end up giving them to us. We just recently got a Flemish giant rabbit.
Oh my gosh.
Same thing, it literally just showed up at our door, and they were like, here, you take care of this, and like, how do we turn it down? So, yes, it's just one of the craziest things. Lots of learning.
Can you tell us about the short-term and the long-term goals of Ecological Marine Adventures?
Our short-term goals are really to get our grants incoming for Ecological Marine Adventures, because it's a new nonprofit, it's a newly formed nonprofit. The whole grant writing process has been a little bit tricky, and trying to wrap our heads around it. So helping with grants and things like that, that's going to be our short-term goals. Our long-term goals is, I always said, especially with the aquarium, I want a tank I can swim in. I want to be inside with that little like mic, inside of your scuba mask, and like, this is a shark, or this is, and just get excited about things like that. So that's my goal, is I want a tank I can swim in, and I'm not talking about massive sharks or anything like that, because I still want to kind of keep that small feel of the aquarium, but I do want to have more things for the aquarium that people can come in and enjoy. So those are kind of our long-term goal would be, a bigger building. We understand that we are growing, especially with our camps and classes. Like we're growing, and when is that going to happen? How long is that going to happen? We have no plans and no clue, but that would be our long-term goal.
How can people get in touch with you to book classes or to see what you guys got going on, to participate in things like Octopus Day?
Yeah, absolutely. All that's on our website. The easiest thing to do is follow us on social media. Social media is just such an amazing tool to be able to kind of update people on. So if you want to know what's happened in the aquarium or what's happened with the EMA that week, just follow us on social media, specifically Instagram, Facebook. Like, you can find us on there and you can see our schedules for the entire week.
I want to know, for every single person that walks out of here, parents, teachers, kids, visitors, locals, what do you hope that we take away at the end of our visit?
So my most important thing that when people leave this door that they understand is how important they are. Everybody on this earth is important. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a purpose. I hope that when you leave here, whether it be an EMA class or whether it be the Touch Tank Aquarium, that you leave here feeling better than when you came in. Conservation is so, so important. I hope that you leave with a desire to want to go out and clean up trash and to use this or do that a little bit better. But most importantly, I hope you leave here feeling better about yourself and realizing that you can change the world.
Not old enough. Well, let me.
Do you know any snake puns? Because I certainly do.